Hello and welcome to your weekly card pull. My name is Alexa. Today I'm doing a reading for the week of August 24th through August 30th of 2025. It's been a minute since I did a reading. For those of you who have been a follower for a while or have watched my previous videos, you may notice the new surroundings. I was in the process of moving over the last month, so thank you for your patience as I dealt with all that chaos for a bit. But I am back and I'm going to be doing weekly general readings yet again. So my dears, for this upcoming week, I pulled from two different decks. I pulled from my Ethereal Visions Luna Tarot deck, and then I also pulled from my Crystal Spirits Oracle deck. So I did want to pull Oracle and Tarot, so there's a little bit of a variety here. There were a couple of consistent themes that came up for the week ahead, so I am going to dive straight on into giving tips on how to navigate these. I'm going to start out with the Tarot and then sort of move into Oracle, but as noted, some of them kind of overlap each other, so I'll be going back and forth between the two. The three cards that I pulled out of the Tarot deck were all pulled in the reverse. I do feel like some of you may be dealing with some internal challenges, perhaps. Also, some of the Oracle cards were in reverse, and anytime I see that, I would encourage you to pay attention to how you may be interpreting the events around you and how they may be reflections of things going on inside of you. So anytime something outside of you is triggering for you, acknowledge it. Yes, don't gaslight yourself, but also might be an opportunity for you to dive deeper within yourself. So I will add that as a caution as we move into this week ahead, especially if anything challenging or uncomfortable comes up. I did pull the Moon in reverse. I pulled Page of Swords in reverse. And I also pulled the Page of Wands in reverse. So between the two page cards, there is this level of kind of this like youthful energy, this exploratory energy. I feel like some of you are going to be either finding out things, paying attention to new details, understanding new things, maybe going back over and looking over details or things that you may have missed previously. A lot of information, a lot of opportunities for exploring information, and also a lot of opportunities for coalescing your thoughts and finding some coherence, especially if it feels like, if you've never done parts work, this might be a week for some parts work. You may be feeling like torn in two different directions. You may be feeling a bit of this or that, here or there. And so the information that is at hand, you may be actively seeking out this information, or you may feel like there's an overload being given to you, whether that's by mentors, friends, the internet, social media. I would advise, per the Spirit of Lithium Quartz that I pulled from my Oracle deck, that if you need answers or you're looking for answers or you're looking for guidance, turning to nature might be a less stimulating and less over-the-top way for you to go about receiving the messages that you want to receive, especially if you're very much in your head, very airy. Again, we have a Swords card and a Wands card, so there is some fiery action, but there is also some thoughts, maneuvering the thoughts, dealing with the thoughts, figuring out what they mean, interpreting them, etc. So I would definitely advise, my dears, that for this upcoming week, end of August, you pay attention to what your narratives are and what the information is that is before you. If you're feeling overwhelmed and consumed by these thoughts, the other encouraging message that came out of my Oracle deck was the card of Aquamarine, which is one I also pulled in reverse. So again, paying attention to your narratives, what you are thinking about things, how external events are potentially a reflection of something going on within you and just a reflection of an internal conflict that you might be dealing with. If you feel at any point like this is too much to handle, turn in within yourself and try not to put it out onto the world around you quite so much. So my dears, with Aquamarine, this card comes up anytime that we need encouragement, that we have the capacity for strong discernment. This card and the Page of Swords card are both very much aligned with encouraging us to trust in our capacity for discernment, because both of the page cards, again, were in the reverse. You may be experiencing some challenge with that. That might not be the easiest thing. You might be experiencing some self-doubt. You might be experiencing sort of this feeling, again, of like informational overwhelm, where it's like, oh my God, there's so many details. How do I make sense of it all? The encouragement for this week is that you have the capacity to make sense of those details. You may actually be paying attention to details that you previously overlooked that might help you to make your decision. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, again, feel free to take a step away, but also acknowledge whatever is coming up for you is there to be of service to you. If you're feeling overwhelmed, pay attention to the things that are sticking out to you, especially, again, if it's new information or information that you previously overlooked. These things might be beneficial for you. I did also pull the Moon in the reverse. So some of you may be connecting with your intuition. Some of you may be feeling a little challenged when it comes to connecting with your intuition. So I would definitely encourage you to spend some time nurturing that relationship that you have to yourself. I do want to read directly out of the booklet. The moon can reveal uncomfortable things about ourselves and create an unclear path as she waxes and wanes. Again, that lack of clarity might be a theme that you're experiencing. But her light is a reminder that we ultimately hold power over how we will navigate those murky waters if we stay true to our target. Things may feel like an illusion, so use this card to open up and trust the primal nature of the self. Answer the call to turn inwards and investigate what might be lurking in the shadows. Again, don't externalize these things, turn inward and look within yourself. Let your inner illumination track down the unseen and start to shine a light to liberate it from the depths. This might feel challenging. You might feel moody. You might feel some anger in this process. You might feel some frustration, some disbelief, some potentially anger at yourself. Again, these emotions can all be directed at yourself. I feel like for some of you, this might not feel like the easiest process, but that is not a bad thing. It is a gift and an invitation for you to continually go deeper. Again, paying attention to all the information that is available to us, including how we feel about certain things, what our intentions are with those things. Remembering the power of your intention as well as your intuition will benefit you in any decisions that you do have to make or that you feel like you want to make this upcoming week. So a big theme of what is coming up with these cards is this sort of like murkiness, lack of certainty, lack of clarity, not feeling like you have all of the answers being given to you directly. But I think that this week is sort of an initiation for you, if you will, or a challenge for you to step into the capacity to make those decisions authentically for yourself and not rely on the answers being given to you straight from the world around you. Especially if maybe when you were growing up, you had some challenges with authority, whether it was a thing that you felt like you had to obey authority, or it was a thing that if you grew up and became an entrepreneur, you desperately did not trust authority, or on some deep fundamental level could not get behind the concept of, I don't want to say respecting authority, but following authority, like following what other people tell you. If any of this sounds familiar or is ringing a bell or is making you be like, maybe that does sound like me, opportunities to deal with some inner child work abound for this upcoming week, because that lack of certainty, that lack of discernment, that lack of ability to move forward and make decisions might be coming from a wounded piece of you. Again, with the moon in reverse, looking at those deep shadows, those things that are lurking in the shadows, those things that are hidden from us, those things that are potentially not necessarily immediately conscious. That's when true deep healing and deep change can happen, especially if you've been stuck in the same cycle again and again and again and again and again. If you really want to get to the root of it, you have to look beyond the actual circumstances in your life. Yes, the circumstances in your life are a reflection to you. They are informational, but this is why I said take everything going around you as an opportunity to turn inward and look within yourself. You can, of course, do things about your external world around you. You don't need to be keeping yourself stuck in the same patterns by continuing to show up in the same ways, especially if those have not been working for you. But understanding why you're making changes in your behavior, why you might be choosing something different, will give you, again, a little bit more peace and clarity when it comes to making the decisions that you have to make. I did also pull the card of Black Tourmaline in reverse. This card is all about healthy boundaries. Good fences make good neighbors was a quote with this one. Boundaries are not meant to wall people out, and they are also not something that should be so porous that you cannot figure out where you end and where someone else begins. Boundaries is going to be very helpful for you, especially if you have people-pleasing tendencies or perfectionistic tendencies or this need to satisfy everyone. People-pleasing. If you have people-pleasing tendencies, the ability for you to understand that we are all interconnected in some way, but that does not mean that my experiences, whether that's my pain, my challenges, or my happiness and my excitement, are going to directly translate to yours in every single situation and scenario. So for you, if you're like, oh, well, I have to make them happy because if I make them happy, then it's all going to be okay. Is making them happy going to truly make you happy? Is making them happy truly something that's in alignment with your deeper vision? Sometimes upsetting people is part of the journey. Again, going back to authority figures, I don't know why this keeps coming up. I do, there's a reason. But if authority figures is the thing that's been challenging for you, did you feel like you were going to get punished if you didn't please the people around you when you were younger? Is that people-pleasing tendency something that was a way for you to cope with the stress of feeling like maybe my needs won't get met if I'm not perfect or I'm not doing what these people want around me? I am talking to you as much as I'm talking to myself. So these themes are things that might be coming up for this upcoming week. Major encouragements, though, to spend time in nature, to spend time with nature, with the understanding, again, with this moon card and the lithium quartz card, both kind of encouraging us to pay attention to the fact that life comes in cycles. Things don't have to happen in just one day. If you are in a state where you're like, I have to make this happen, I have to do this now, I have to make this go, 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 go. Nature does not operate in that way. Nature operates in seasons and cycles. Nature does not immediately have to make changes. I mean, unless she's, burning down all of California, which she's currently doing, it doesn't have to be drastic and harsh at all times. So allow yourself to move slow, allow yourself to really understand this, allow yourself to take in the information. If it feels overwhelming, trust that you have the capacity for discernment and you have the capacity to work through all the information that might be here for you and to make decisions accordingly that are respectful to your intuition and to your own intentions, to your deeper self, and also have a level of awareness with them, so you're not just like blindly making really big calls from a place of wounding. We ultimately want to be paying attention to these things so that we can create some healing within ourselves and also within dynamics around us that might be painful and challenging for us. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have questions, please drop a comment below and let me know. If any of this doesn't make sense, or you want a little bit more clarification, or if you just want a personal reading, leave a little comment below and I will reach out to you and answer your questions. All right. Thank you guys so much. I love you, and I will see you on the next week. This is so cute. I just realized I have this nice little hair sticking up. That's gonna drive me crazy when I'm editing. Perfectionism.